one of the major problems I have with the finale, it's kind of set up in the previous episode, is where my problems begin. And the way it plays out in the finale is so infuriating and frustrating. So Celebrimbor, Galadriel finds him in Eregion. In the Siege of Eregion, that's going on. Sauron went to the bathroom and left Celebrimbor unattended. So he finished the 9 rings for men and cut off his thumb so he could get free from his restraints instead of just, cutting his actual restraints. But he escaped, and Galadriel finds him, stumbles upon him, and I guess everything is okay now because there are no consequences for Galadriel whatsoever about any decision that she makes. All that's happened to the Siege of Eregion, all that's happened to Celebrimbor is Galadriel's fault. So thank you, Amazon, for making Galadriel such a, anti-hero? I don't even know. She's not heroic. She's not smart. She's not intelligent. She is just clearly just at the whim of her hormones. Her hots for Halbrand have just clouded her mind. And she didn't want to accept the consequences for her actions, so she kept Halbrand's identity a secret. And all of this that goes down is Galadriel's fault, but everything is okay when Celebrimbor and her, meet. Everything's fine between them, I guess. And because she's Mary Sue in this, Mary Sue girl boss, she can do no wrong. Everybody loves her, including Sauron. So he gives her the 9 rings for men to escape with, to flee. So Galadriel has the 9 rings, and she knows that Sauron wants to use them in his quest to dominate the free peoples of Middle-earth. So he gives them to her with the knowledge that she is going to leave, to flee, to get the rings beyond Sauron's reach. And what does she do in the very next episode? Nothing. None of that. She just hangs around Eregion. When we see her next in the episode, she is fighting her way out. Looks like she's just loitering around. She should have immediately fled to keep the rings out of Sauron's grasp. But for some reason, she needs to help a few elves escape. So she's their escort, which looks absolutely ridiculous. Again, she's 5 foot nothing. Everyone that she's escorting, all the other elves, are like way taller than her. I think some of the children too are like the same height. What are we doing here? Like, you were tasked with getting the rings away, and Celebrimbor stayed and is left to be tortured and eventually brutally murdered by Sauron to allow you time to escape. And what do? You don't escape because, she read the script, and the script requires her to face off against Sauron. So she just hangs around, finds something to do. Oh, I'm going to help these random elves escape. So she does that, and she gets captured by the orcs around. Of course she does. I don't understand why people just don't have a problem with the way Galadriel is painted, like mainstream media. Like, can you not see how awful this character has been treated, apparently in the name of female representation? Like, you took one of the strongest and wisest characters in Tolkien's Legendarium, and you made her an idiot. You made her just completely brash and stupid, and I don't know why she makes the decisions that she does. And again, too, they're trying to do this thing where she has the hots for Halbrand Sauron. So how is this supposed to be? Are women, especially female viewers, supposed to respond to this? This is insulting, if anything. Nothing that she has done has been in any way heroic, noble, or wise. And that was such an egregious thing for me. I had such a problem with that. Celebrimbor just submitted to torture and eventually murder so you could get away with the rings. And what happens? Well, they've been teasing it all season. They've been teasing this rematch of the century between Sauron and Galadriel, so we have to have that. So she just stays around for no reason. Eventually gets, captured by the orcs and says, well, let the elves that I'm escorting to safety go, and I will give Adar the rings that he wants. So they take her to Adar. The orcs, they listen. Like, okay, we'll do that. We'll be reasonable. We'll accept your demands. We'll accept your terms to let the other elves go. Anyway, so she gets presented to Adar, who has been healed by the ring, Nenya, Galadriel's ring, and they're doing it again. They're trying to broach another alliance again. Like, how many times have we gone through this between these two characters of them having this meeting and trying to broach the topic of allying against Sauron. Like, isn't this the third time we've had this exact same conversation? But this time he's healed with Nenya and whatever, but technically not healed because when he takes the ring off, then he reverts back to his former appearance. Like, that's not how healing works. But okay, regardless, so the orcs, the sympathetic orcs, switch sides. We don't know why, but they're on Sauron's side now. And anyways, they come. The sympathetic orc is leading them. They come out of nowhere and betray Adar and do the same thing, exact same thing to Adar as they did to the previous form of Sauron in the very beginning. They Caesared him. While this is happening, Galadriel is just sticking around to watch. Sauron is there, by the way. She's just sticking around to watch. She has the rings. She doesn't once have the inclination to flee. No, because they gotta have the rematch. Yeah, okay. Yeah, she flippin' stood around and watched Adar get stabbed Caesar style. Her first inclination is to grab the sword and confront Sauron. I'm sorry, like, Celebrimbor just died so that you can take the rings and get them out of Sauron's grasp. And what do? He died for nothing. Are we supposed to feel happy about that? That Celebrimbor's sacrifice meant nothing because she wanted to go toe-to-toe with Sauron again. It's the only reason. And if she failed, he ended up getting the rings anyway. There you go. Every time they set her up to be just this stupid character who just doesn't know what she's doing, and all of these problems are her fault, and we're supposed to be happy about it? Remember, she's still a 4,000-year-old child that needs to mature as a woman. It's so frustrating, the mistreatment of these characters. And does no one have a problem with this? And people actually liked that interchange between Celebrimbor and Sauron. But you do realize that Celebrimbor just died for nothing. He wanted Galadriel to get the rings out, and she didn't do it. She allowed herself to get captured. She could have fled again a second time when Sauron defeated Adar, but no, she had to stick around, immediately grab the sword so she can go toe-to-toe with Sauron again. Galadriel has made so many messes because of her actions, and the show refuses to acknowledge it. I feel like this is a theme now. A lot of Disney Star Wars shows, too, have this thing where the female characters make horrible choices that have consequences for other characters, and it's never addressed. They never reap the consequences for their actions. They never reap what they sow. I don't know. Everyone just lets them get away with murder, I guess, and it's completely fine. It just annoys me so much. The promo for this show, season 2 specifically, the entire time, they're promoting the Sauron-Galadriel connection, and this was, the big battle. Well, why can't you just have it make sense? Have her be on her way to leave Eregion. She needs to flee. She needs to get away. And why can't you just have Sauron catch up to her? I don't know. He's pretty formidable. I wouldn't say it's beyond him to catch up with her at some point. But no, we have to sacrifice Galadriel even further and bastardize her character even further by having her make such a stupid choice and not leaving. Celebrimbor died for nothing, and all of these consequences, all of the elves that just died, are her fault, and no one says anything about it. It's so infuriating. These showrunners and creators just want specific things to happen, but they don't want to think about why they happen like that. They don't want to think about what journeys are characters going on that will make for a satisfying arc. They want to get from A to Z and not fill in the rest of that. Not fill in the rest of the alphabet of what needs to happen.